Hello friends, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a beautiful moon picture. So if you like to see, keep watching and let's get started. I'm using inexpensive watercolor paper. It's 6 inches by 6 inches and using blue and violet watercolors. I'm gonna trace a circle around the glass that I'm using here with a regular white pencil. I'm hoping that will stop the watercolor bleeding through underneath the glass. Now I'm gonna water down my blue color and paint the whole background in this light blue, and then adding a little bit of more the violet and blue together to have a darker violet blue color around the edges. You can play with it whatever colors you want. This is just gonna be a little background. I'm gonna spray with my water bottle spray and now use a Himalayan salt to sprinkle little salt around it. Where the water is, it's gonna be activated. So I'm mixing now the blue, violet, and brown color together to have a little bit more of grayish, darker blue color, which I'm gonna be painting over the whole painting right now to have another layer. I'm trying to have more layers to have a more three-dimensional look to this painting. So I'm just building one layer on top of each layer. I'm still leaving the glass on top so I don't have to worry about the edges of the moon. So this is how it's dried, and you can see white circles around the salt. That's how it activated with the water, so it kind of repels the watercolor a little bit. So I'm just cleaning up the edges of the moon. It doesn't have to be perfect right now, but it's good enough. So I'm gonna wet the circle, the moon inside, and I'm just gonna dab a little bit of the blue color with the brown color, which makes a bluish grayish color for the moon. And I'm just filling it a little bit generally where the craters and the shadows on the moon are, and just play with it. You don't have to be perfect, it's just kind of having fun layering on top. So here I'm gonna be spraying a little bit more and activating the salt again with the water. The more water you put with the salt, the more it spreads around and have these white spots um, around your watercolor. So the more salt and the more water, the bigger the white spot's gonna be. And here on the bottom, moving the salt around because it's gonna be one of the biggest craters here, you can see. I'm just adding a little bit more of the gray, spreading it around. So now I'm lifting a color, just clean wet brush, and I'm just lifting the little bit of the gray color and around the edges of the moon because it was too dark. I'm playing with the shadows now and building more craters and more dimensions to the moon. You don't have to be so precise here. This is just for fun, kind of building up the little craters there. And some of the salt is already building my crater, so I don't have to do so much work. So now I just put a black color, just plain black color, water it down, and I'm glazing over the whole picture. Part of my background was already dry, so now I can just glaze over it with one thin layer of black color. So kind of darken everything. So this is what it looks like when it's dry, and I'm gonna scrape off the salt. You don't want any salt to be left over on the picture, so scrape the rest. And now I'm just gonna be filling more with the blue and the black together to have more dimension and depth and of the darkness of the night sky, so the moon can pop in the sky much better and kind of be this focal point, and the background sky could be a little bit more toned down. So you can see it's coming up nicely. I'm gonna be now cleaning a little bit more of the edges of the moon so they're straighter, And you can see a little bit more how the cradle looks like. I'm just filling in around the edges so it's much rounder, and making it a little bit darker too around it, so because it's a nighttime we don't want to be too light with the sky. And I'm just leaving little pops of color of the light blue around the edges on the canvas because I like to see the light of the moon reflecting in the clouds, and it gives it more three-dimensional look too. So I'm just filling a little bit more with the blue and the black together, and just kind of work around. If I see something that I want to fill in more in the moon, and making the shadows. Now I'm going to be painting a tree. I like to have one tree kind of growing. It gives it a little bit more of an interest in the painting. You can see the branches a little bit more against the moon, and I'm just building it up so it can stand out against the black background. I want it to be very small tree so it's not overpowering. The moon is the main focus, so the tree is just an extra added element to make it more interesting. So here I'm just doing a little bit more of smoothing around the moon, so I'm blending a little bit more the colors of the sky together, and painting another layer over the tree so we can see it better when it dries. So just little by little building up the little branches and around the moon just to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. Here I'm building a little bit more of the crater in the middle and kind of correcting the color and the shape and lifting more here of the white and adding the gray around it. So I like this shape better. And now you can see the close-up of the moon and the final painting, how it looks like. I hope you enjoyed this video and like this painting, and if you're new, please subscribe. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching.